Hello and welcome to another Entropia Universe video. I'm Kieran Blade and we're here in Port Atlantis once again. Today there's a good reason for us to be here because we're going to be travelling not too far from here. In this episode we are going to cover how to train your dragon, or more specifically how to tame a pet and then train it. What we're going to need to do is get ourselves down to the Atlantis archipelago, and that's based at this TP right here. So what we'll do is we'll just head over there now. Obviously if you don't have the TP you're going to need to take a flight over. If you don't have a vehicle, then try and arrange a flight, because swimming, if you don't have a boat, swimming is an issue for this place because it is surrounded by razor tooth and other quite nasty mobs in the water, so you don't want any of that. Basically on this island, at this part of the island, there are just puny mobs. So what we're going to do is pop out into the helicopter. Do is take a quick flight over to this area on the map. It's not far from the teleporter. And what we have there are the Corinthian cannon, which are basically just rabbits. The rabbits are the weakest of the new style of tameables that were released recently. So there were three new tameables. They were 1, the Corinthian cannon, 2, the Chirin dragon, and 3, the Eudorian devil. And I think they go in that order in terms of how difficult they are to tame, how much HP they have, things like that. So this little mound of earth here in the sand, we should start seeing some red dots. There we go. Get in and take a closer look. You can see, there we go. It's fiddly to select because they're too small. There we go. Level 2 Corinthian cannon young. Now, what it is worth looking out for in this place is the silver Corinthian cannon, because they have a very special avatar buff, passive effect buff, that that makes them very desirable, either for the fact that you can go and train one, or and then sell it on, or you want to keep it for yourself. Anyway, that's this little island. What we're going to do now is head over to this part over here, which is where both the Eudorian devils and the Chirin dragons live. Watch the water around these parts, because there's lots of this particular section here. There's a lot of calypso cod, and the kind of mid-maturity ones. So they're not so easy to work with if you're a lower level hunter. So you can see already we've got a couple of Chirin dragons down here. So, given that I've called the video how to tame your dragon, I better go and tame one. So basically the dragons are on this portion of the island and the Eudorian devils are on the rest. I think that's how it goes from memory. I don't think that's changed since. Now, that was a bit of a fail there, because I didn't mean to aggro him before I had a chance to talk to you about some things. So the first thing you need when doing this is you need a whip. Now I've picked up 2 here because basically there are some that are stronger than others, and we've got a level 6 in front of us at the moment, but as you saw earlier, the cannons are only level 2, level 3. Now they have a lot less HP, and so you want to be using the Dominax Garter really, because it only does 3 damage. And the trick with taming is not to do too much damage, because the kind of the bars that you're looking for, the respect bar and the kind of tame, the spirit bar, you need to get them in the right kind of position, which you'll see in a minute. And if you damage them too much, the spirit doesn't go down enough, they don't get enough respect, and then they're close to death, in which case you end up having to do pretty much what I'm doing right here now, is stand around and talk, and wait for your health to come back up, and that's not an ideal situation to be in. Anyway, I've just purchased these, so we need to map these to make things a little bit easier. Don't really have an awful lot of slots left, so what I will do is I'll drop that one off for a minute. Yeah, get rid of you, and we'll have the Harbu on insert and the Garter on delete, and I'll come to other tools in a short while. So we've got this guy in front of us now, and I'm going to just quickly give myself a heal here, and so I don't have to worry about it. He's only doing 1.0s now. Probably don't want to be sat in armor that basically means you're just getting 1.0, 1.0, 1.0, because you're just taking unnecessary decay. They don't hit 100% of the time, so your regen would kind of counter some of the excess damage when they hit over the top of whatever armor you do choose. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about it too much. So for this one, being level 6, I'm going to get the Harbu out, because that's a bit more powerful, and then there we go. So the first hit, we can see his respect goes up a bit, but you see then he hit me, and when he hit me, his respect has gone down, and that will continue to happen. And that's the kind of fiddly part to this, because you need that respect beyond the white line, but you also need the spirit to be below the other white line to the left of it. So now we've already got the respect right up here, but as you can see already, the spirit's not coming down as fast as the HP is, the health. So when I get to about 50% here, I'm probably going to switch over to the Garter to try and get that spirit down a bit more without mullering his HP too quickly, keeping that respect up. There we go. Right, so I'm going to switch to the other now. I'm just going to auto queue, so it'll be a little while doing that. Now the other thing you need to do is set up the action to tame. Now where have I got that? There, attempt tame. Now you'll need to get that out of the action book, and it's the first action, made nice and easy for us by Mind Arc. So again, get into your key mappings, put that somewhere that you're going to remember. I use on numpad 6 there, and then you just need to remember you've mapped that there. So you can see his health isn't dropping quite as fast as it was before, because obviously the creature has an amount of regen to allow us to tame this, to be successful if we're using this kind of slightly more powerful whips. So now the spirit is going down below the level of the HP just. So I'll just stick with the garter for now, I think. Till perhaps we get the spirit down to, say, about a quarter. And then I might switch back for a couple of cracks with the Harbu. But I think it's key to understand here that, even when you're doing the high level creatures, it's good to have a blend of equipment. You can use the garter and the Harbu. There's other models out there as well that I can't remember the name of right now. And then there's the old original kit that came out, the Cobra Viper, I think it was. They're all kind of snake names. They're quite rare. People don't really loot those so much anymore because everything's going the way of the limited, and here we are with a plethora of these new limited whips available. And you see this is going quite well. He's not hitting me too much, so I'm not worrying about that. The respect's staying up quite high, spirit's going down. And now I'm just going to switch back to the Harbu. There we go. And then we can speed this up a little bit, you see. And then one more. No. One more. Right, now I'm going to attempt. No, I can't. I remember now because it needs to tell me I can do it. There we go. Let's do that now. And you get a little drum roll. And we failed. But we get a load of skill for that. Now obviously the situation we got ourselves into, because I was trying to rush it, is I used up too much HP. And you can see it is kind of starting to pull itself back. But what I'm going to do is just switch to the garter, which is the lower damage one again, and see how we go cracking the whip again. So I'm going to pause my action there and let him regenerate a bit, because I took a bit too much out of him with the Harbu just for the camera, but I probably would have stuck with the garter for a bit more just to try and preserve a bit of HP, because you can't guarantee taming will work on the first attempt, and so you don't really want to be in the position where you're taking so much of the health away that you're having to wait around like this for the health to come back up. It's only the respect that kind of goes back down with each hit. The spirit doesn't, from what I can remember, go back up. So once it's at a particular level, you don't need to worry about that kind of clawing back on you. So let's start cracking it. The only problem with these things are being melee items as well. They're quite a slow reload, so these things take quite a while. Only doing 3 damage as well. it can feel a bit painfully slow. Now there are other variants to these creatures. Now I've already mentioned with the Corinthian cannon there's the silver. There's also a ruby. I think there's an epic that was won in the recent photo competition with photo with you and your pet competition. There's also with the Eudorian Devils there are sapphire and ruby variants of those, and the same with the Turin Dragon as well. I think there's, if I remember rightly, there's an emerald one as well. So these other creatures have extra kind of power to their passive buffs. And when we say buff, what we're talking about is the ability to kind of improve your avatar in some way or another. Oh, okay. So while I'm yabbering on, we can tame. So I'm going to do that now. Drum roll. Oh, we failed again. That's not good. Right, so I'm going to keep cracking the garter again. See, just keep an eye on the HP. The respec's still maxed out after a couple of cracks. It's just getting that spirit back down again. With the garter, you're almost not making any headway against the creature's regeneration, so it's quite a handy tool to use. It's quite easy to go headlong into using a harbu or something, but it's quite powerful. So the thing with the Corinthian cannons is they have well, from what I know, and if someone knows different, then feel free to comment in the comment section below the video. But as far as I know, the Corinthian cannon is the only one that has a decent avatar effect, and that is an acceleration effect or a speed buff. If I get my Corinthian cannon out, just look at that status. We can see here that on this we go to the passive effects and we can see acceleration. There's the buff, but you can't use that. Oh, we got a chance to tame again. It's not let me do it. Hang on. There we go. Just kept on. I can't believe I failed again. The system is not liking me lately. So let's crack away. Go back to what I was talking about. So it appears having this window open prevents me from setting off another action or doing a tame at least. So in the passive effects we select the acceleration, and basically we can't use it yet because the creature's not at the required level. Now this one we're talking about level 17 to give us a strength of 8% increase on the run speed. Okay, with the silver cannon you need to get to level 23, but that gives a 10% buff. I don't know about other variants of the cannon. I haven't seen them yet, so if I find out post processing of the video, then I'll put it in the comments. So that's pretty much that. In order to do the unlock, you need some essence, and essence is gained from training a a pet up to, I think it's something like level 7, and then you kind of export the pet to get the essence. So it's kind of, it allows you to make certain pets a kind of throwaway commodity, so you can actually get this other resource. Right, let's see if we can get lucky with this tame. The crack, let's go now. No, see, it doesn't want to nullify the auto tool. Oh my god. No, not that tool. Okay. Yes, not a very successful taming experience right now. I think the last time I did a dragon, it took me ages. It really did take me ages. So I'm hoping it doesn't take quite as long this time around. But the strange thing was the Dorian Devil that I tried. That didn't take me very long at all, and I've done plenty of cannons. But they are a much easier creature. And there we have it. We finally tamed the dragon. And he disappears. So what's happened now is he's gone into our inventory. There we go. Cheering dragon level 1. Now, the next thing you need after the whips, and one of those things that you need to have before you come out, like the whips, is nutria bars. Now, you need to feed the pet when you spawn it. What we need to do is right click on the pet and we say summon. There we go. We've now summoned this dragon, but we can't do anything with him right now because he's starving, and the only way we can negate starving is by feeding the pet. So if we just do this, do a trick, your pet is too hungry to perform that trick. So we need to come back here, right click on the nutria bar. Now the nutria bar is made from the mixture of fruit that you find walking about the place and something called sweet stuff, which is mined. So we hit feed, we're presented with the amount that we want to actually feed the pet with, and I'm going to just say a pet, and it's still starving. Now it's I think it takes between 5 and 10 ped to properly feed your pet and get it up to 100%. But I don't want to put too much into this particular pet. So now he's hungry. There we go. We've got him to do a trick. Now the focus was at 100%. We've done one trick. It's given us 1 XP, but it's taken us down to 99%. Now, what I recommend is waiting till that gets back to 100 for each trick. Otherwise, what you find is if I run a trick again, let's say dance, okay, we've got some XP for that. If I do it again, we've got some XP for that. So like in level 1 you can get away with doing that quite a few times, but as the pets get to much higher levels it doesn't work so well. Now you see we've dropped a percent and gone up to 11%. We've dropped to 94%, so each time it's becoming later, we're not getting as many XP anymore, you know, we're getting less percentage of XP each time. So it's a kind of diminishing return every time you do it. Now we're way down to 89%. 81. At the moment the kind of XP gain is not too bad, but at the greater levels that situation's much worse. And just to show you, I'll spawn my other pet. Here he is. He's at 100% focus at the moment with 19%, and if I do a trick now, we get 1% for 1%. Do another one. Way down to 87%. Do it again. 44%, and I didn't get any more XP at all. So it's not worth hitting it again and again and again. As soon as you, I think it's probably like level 2, you want to stop doing that. Now there is another way to train, and that requires an animal brush. Here it is, an animal brush. Now these things are not cheap. So this was kind of a half-eaten one I got off the auction. So, but when they're full, you're looking at 105 ped, so that's $10, and they're running between 125 135% markup. So you're paying a bit over the odds for the animal brush because it's a popular thing right now. Let's see if I can map this somewhere. Let's try there. Yep, that works. Okay, so now I've equipped the brush. Use tool. I think this is more about giving me skill. There you go. So we've got some animal lore for that. But this doesn't affect the pet at all. This is affecting me now. Now, when you're training your pet, and in fact passively when your pet is just stood around, it will consume food but also gains you animal lore or zoology skills just for sitting around. So just bear that in mind. If you're standing around all day, it will use up the nutrio bars that you fed it, even though you're not doing anything. Now the reason why it took me so long to tame that dragon is because I don't have a great deal of animal lore, zoology, animal taming skills, so I'm quite newbie in that respect because I chipped out quite some time ago. But essentially that's about everything to do with pets. You can go to the there's a special place in certain cities which the name escapes me, the actual name. It's kind of the pet centre or something like that, and these are now owned by specific avatars and they kind of present certain buffs you can buy and apply to the pet. Now if I pull up the pet status again, passive effects. Now the passive buff here is acceleration, which you kind of get and just have, but you can actually go and buy an effect and place that on the pet, but I don't believe you can have more than one at a time at the moment. So if you go and buy one, then unlock the acceleration, turn that on, it will nullify the buff you had on there previously, which I think means you end up losing that buff. So that's going to be a loss of kind of money as well. Okay, well I think that pretty much covers taming and how to train your dragon, so to speak. There he is. If you have any questions, comments, please put them in the comments below. Thanks everyone. Bye. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, and also don't forget to subscribe for more Entropia Universe videos. Right, I better step off this thing before I fall off. Ah!